on News 4 at 5, stuck in traffic. Thousands of people paid a visit to the giant rubber duck over the weekend, creating massive traffic jams. How officials plan to prevent it from happening again. Plus, the big boost for Western New York, New Era is bringing more jobs to the area. See why the company still calls Buffalo home after almost 100 years in business. And the last straw, why Anthony Weiner and his wife are calling it quits. Drivers had trouble ducking traffic at Canal Side over the weekend. The world's largest rubber duck drew thousands of people to the waterfront. That's the good news. Good evening, everyone. Jackie is off tonight. Drivers called our newsroom after traffic came to a standstill. News 4's Angela Cristoforos is live at Canal Side now to tell us how city leaders are reacting to the problem. Angela?
Don, bit of a double-edged sword here because it's great to have large crowds at Canal Side, but that means more people and more traffic. And that's what many people dealt with here over the weekend at the Erie Basin Marina, where traffic was jammed up for hours. Officials say they did anticipate the duck would attract a large crowd, but say they had no idea that would mean upwards of 100,000 people. They say they need to work on encouraging people to take public transit and ride their bikes. I'm also told that the State Department of Transportation will be working on improving signage that directs people to Canal Side to encourage traffic to spread out.
We need to do a better job communicating to the public about the parking that is available. When you're east of Main Street in the Cobblestone District, we have lots of surface parking lots that are less than a block away that people just aren't aware of.
Hoyt says that after every event at Canal Side, an evaluation is done to look for ways to improve things. I'm also told that Mayor Brown met with Buffalo Police today to review the matter. Live at the Erie Basin Marina, Angela Cristoforos, News 4 at 5.
I can say that with the utmost confidence, New Era is 100% committed to Western New York and Buffalo. Oh, that's great.
New Era Cap is ramping up production and bringing more jobs to its plant in Derby. This is the company's second major announcement this month. The Cap company recently bought the naming rights to the Bills Stadium and renamed it New Era Field. New Era CEO Chris Cook and Senator Chuck Schumer announced the exciting news together today at the plant. The company will now produce a line of NFL caps in Derby. The increase in production will allow the company to employ 250 workers year-round and add a handful of new jobs. New Era was founded in 1920 by Cook's great-grandfather. Cook says the company has offices all over the world, but Buffalo is still its home.
Every cap we make here, as you can imagine, it's a very personal thing for me because I grew up working in this plant. My great-grandfather, in 1918 worked for a company called Miller Brothers, and he went out on his own in 1920 and started New Era, and we're in over 80 countries now.
News 4's Al Vaughters is following this story for us tonight. Coming up at 6, he'll tell us how many caps will be made in Derby. All new at 5, an Ellicottville woman is in trouble with the law. She's accused of slashing the tires of several emergency vehicles. State police tell us Morgan Manfreda Moran broke into the Ellicottville Fire Department. Police say the 20-year-old slashed the tires on several vehicles. She's facing burglary and criminal mischief charges now. Police continue to hunt for the shooter who gunned down an 8-year-old boy in Buffalo. Donnell Bibbs was shot in the head last week. Police say the child was only sitting in a car on South Division Street when the gunman opened fire. The young boy has undergone several surgeries. He remains in critical condition at Women and Children's Hospital. The gun violence continued in Buffalo over the weekend. Police tell us a 21-year-old man was shot in the leg on Westminster Avenue and Orleans Street yesterday. Police tell us someone opened fire at a party. The man was taken to ECMC. He's expected to be okay. About half an hour later, Buffalo police were called to the 300 block of Warwick Avenue for yet another shooting. Police say a 25-year-old man from Cheektowaga was shot. The man is listed in fair condition tonight. Police have not responded to, or they have responded to at least 6 shootings since last Saturday. If you have any information about the shootings that could help, just give police a call. Across the state, police are investigating a deadly brawl at an Ivy League school. 19-year-old Anthony Nazaire was killed at Cornell University's campus early Sunday morning. Nazaire was a student at nearby Ithaca College. A second student was also stabbed during that fight. They were treated and released from the hospital. Police have not named any suspects in this investigation.
Everything is wide open. We're asking for the public's help. If you have any information, please forward us any cell phone video. If you witnessed it, if you were in the area, even something small or minor to you, maybe something that helps us crack open the case.
Students, faculty, and staff plan to hold a vigil in Nazaire's memory. Tonight, we're remembering the life of actor Gene Wilder. You might recognize him from playing Willy Wonka or Young Frankenstein in Blazing Saddles. Family says he died in Connecticut from complications from Alzheimer's disease. Gene Wilder was 83 years old. A false alarm sent people running onto the tarmac at L.A. International Airport last night. The scare came just 2 weeks after a similar incident at New York's JFK Airport. Investigators believe loud noises set off the mass panic. Police briefly detained a man who was dressed in a Zorro costume, but they let him go when they found out his sword was made of plastic.
These are difficult situations because there were multiple reports of something that was very significant and potentially very dangerous. And so I think our officers did an excellent job. They followed their protocols and they worked hard to make sure that if there was a threat, that they found it and addressed it.
The chaos delayed almost 300 flights. It took about 2 hours for 5 terminals to reopen. Funeral services were held today for those 2 nuns who were found murdered in their Mississippi home last week. A man with a criminal history has reportedly confessed to the crime, and he could face the death penalty. However, fellow clergy of the victims are calling for his life to be spared. Kenneth Craig reports.
Mourners filled a Mississippi church to honor 2 nuns who were brutally murdered. The women, both 68 years old, served one of the state's poorest counties.
It didn't matter if you were white or black. They were colorblind, the sisters.
The Mass, celebrating the lives of Sisters Paula Merrill and Margaret Held, came 4 days after police discovered the 2 healthcare workers fatally stabbed. Both worked at a local clinic and provided critical medical care to the community.
These 2 talented women weren't attracted to the allurements of fame or money that seem so prominent in our American culture today. In serving the poor, they served the Christ.
So far, investigators have released little about 46-year-old Rodney Sanders, the man they say confessed to the horrific crime. He is facing 2 counts of capital murder. Sanders has served prison time in both Iowa and Mississippi for various crimes, including armed robbery. One of the women's cars was stolen during the murders, but authorities say there were no signs of a break-in. Despite their brutal deaths, the nuns' fellow sisters are asking that Sanders not face the death penalty if convicted. During a Mass Monday, Father Greg Plata asked mourners to find it in their hearts to forgive. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
A new lawsuit is shedding a negative light on Chipotle. 10,000 workers are suing the restaurant. The lawsuit claims Chipotle cheated the workers out of pay. Current and former employees claim the company made them work off the clock in a practice known as wage theft. The law firm representing the employees says workers came from almost every state that Chipotle operates in. Chipotle denies any wrongdoing and says the case has no merit. Straight ahead at 5, a slowdown in Cheektowaga. Construction is underway on a busy road. We're going to learn how long this will have an impact on your commute. And coming up at 5:30, hundreds of bikers will hit the road tonight for Slow Roll Buffalo. We have a live report with the latest on changes being made because of recent safety concerns.